What's going on, everybody? It's your boy, John from the GamerDuo here, welcoming you to some more ISN today. Hopefully, y'all are having a wonderful day as I'm all messy with things and making things much worse than they already need to be. But yeah, we're out here. We're having fun. We're doing good. Last episode, we did the investigation portion of Chapter 2, or Episode 2. Now we are doing the trial portion of Chapter 2. Oh, let's just go to separate, yeah. Day 2 trial. September 7th, 10 a.m. District Court, courtroom number 1. The court is now in session for the trial of Mrs. Maya Fey. Okay, so this character, the prosecution is ready, Your Honor. The defense is ready, Your Honor. Miles Edgeworth. And I better not show any signs of weakness today, or he'll be on me in an instant. Mr. Edgeworth, please give the court your opening statements. Thank you, Your Honor. The defendant, Mrs. Maya Fey, was at the scene of the crime. The prosecution has evidence that she committed the murder, and we have a witness who saw her even do it. The prosecution sees no reason to doubt the facts of this case, Your Honor. I see. Thank you, Mr. Edgeworth. Let's begin then. If we may call our first witness, Your Honor, the prosecution calls the chief officer at the scene, Detective Gumshoe. Witness, please state your name and profession to the court. Sir, my name is Dick Gumshoe, sir. I am the detective in charge of homicides down at the precinct, sir. Detective Gumshoe, please describe for us the details of the murder. Very well, sir. Let me use the floor of the map of the office to explain. The body was found by the window here. And the cause of death? Loss of blood due to being struck by a blunt object, sir. The murder weapon was the statue of the faker, found next to the body, sir. It was very heavy. Heavy enough to be a deadly weapon, even in a girl's hands, sir. The court accepts the statue as evidence. They're still calling it a statue. Floor plans have been added to the court record. So let's see. Okay, so we have... Wait, RB is profiles? Oh, these are character profiles. That makes too much sense to me. Of course. Also, geez, all these people are like in their 20s, essentially, except for Marvin Grossberg. But that's crazy. Okay, evidence. So, time of death is 9. Instantaneous death. Conversation of the phone. Broken glass. Faker statue made by Larry Butts. The wiretap. The receipt with letters written in blood. And now the floor plans. Now, detective. Yes, sir? You immediately arrested Maya Fey was found at the scene, correct? Can you tell me why? Yes, sir. I had hard evidence she did it, sir. Detective Gumshoe, please testify to the court about this hard evidence. As soon as the phone call came in, I rushed to the scene. There were 2 people there already. The defendant, Mrs. Maya Fey, and the lawyer, Mr. Phoenix Wright. I immediately arrested Mrs. Maya Fey. Why? We had an eyewitness account describing her. The witness saw Miss Maya Fey at that very moment of the murder. That very moment, you say? Very well, Mr. Wright. You may begin your cross-examination. Yes, sir, Your Honor. Cross-examine what? I couldn't see a single contradiction in that testimony. Whoosh. Smack. Hey, Maya just threw something at me. What's this? When my sister couldn't find any contradictions in a witness testimony, she would bluff it and press the witness on every detail. The witness always slips up and says something wrong. It worked a lot of times. Huh? I should have expected Maya would know some of her sister's tricks. Alright, let's give this a try. Something the matter? No, Your Honor. I'd like to begin my cross-examination. As soon as the phone call came in, I rushed this scene. There were 2 people there already. The defendant, Mrs. Maya Fey, and the lawyer, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Is this where... Are you absolutely sure it was us? Listen, pal. Your dumb act will only get you so far. With her funky hippie clothes and her spiky hair, you 2 stand out like suspicious people at a crime scene. Well, he doesn't have a point about her. She's pretty unmistakable. I should pick my points and press with a little more care. I immediately arrested Maya Fey. Why? We had a witness account describing her. The witness saw Mrs. Maya Fey at the very moment of the murder. Hold on just one second. Yeah? If I heard correctly, you said you arrested her because you had hard evidence. She did it, correct? Huh? Did I say that? Me? I heard you say it. You did say it. You did say it. Exactly what about this suspicious woman in pink Pink's claim was hard evidence? What? Mrs. May isn't suspicious. She sure isn't pink, pal. Well, I guess she is pink. That's enough. Detective Gumshoe, do you have any more solid proof other than her claims, Detective? I guess pressing can have its advantages. Yes. Ugh. Sorry, I've got the order of things mixed up in my testimony, Your Honor. Sir, there was something I should have told you about first, Your Honor. Very well, Detective. Let's hear your testimony again. Hard evidence. After securing the suspect, I examined the scene of the crime with my own eyes. I found a memo written on a piece of paper next to the victim's body. On it, the word Maya was clearly written in blood. Lab test results showed the blood was in fact the victim's. Also, there was blood found on the victim's finger. Before she died, the victim wrote the killer's name. How do you like that? That's my hard evidence. Before we begin cross-examination, I have a question for you, Detective. Your Honor? Why didn't you testify about that vital piece of evidence the first time? I know I'm really embarrassed I forgot about that, Your Honor, sir. Try to be more careful. Very well, the defense may begin its cross-examination. After securing the suspect, I examined the scene of the crime with my own eyes. I found a memo written on a piece of paper next to the victim's body. On it, the word Maya was clearly written in blood. Lab test results showed that the blood was the victim's. Also, there was blood found on the victim's finger. Before she died, the victim wrote the killer's name. How is that certain? Detective Gumshoe, do you get a lot of cases where the victim actually writes the killer's name? Sure, it happens all the time in books and in movies. This isn't a movie, Detective. Oof! Let's talk about reality, shall we? I guess I haven't heard of many cases, no. So do you find it a little odd that the victim would write down a name? Especially the name of her own sister? Yeah, actually, you got a point, pal. Stop right there. Oh! Edgeworth is objecting me? Oh, shoot. Stop right there. The witness's opinion on the matter is irrelevant. The facts are clear. The victim wrote down the name of the accused. The victim told us the name of her killer. She literally could not have. Order! Order! That didn't go so well. That's right. What he said. That's his whole testimony? Okay. There has to be a contradiction in there somewhere. Let's find it. After securing the suspect, I examined the scene with my own eyes. I found a memo written on a piece of paper next to the victim's body. On it, the word Maya was clearly written in blood. Lab tests showed that it was the victim's. Also, there was a blood found on the victim's finger. Before she died, the victim wrote the killer's name. This is there must be a contradiction in there somewhere. Let's find it. She died instantaneously, so how did she write the name? After securing the suspect, I examined the scene of the crime with my own eyes. I found a memo written on a piece of paper next to the victim's body. On it, the word Maya was written clearly in blood. Lab test results shows that the blood was the victim's. Also, there's blood found on the victim's finger. Before she died, the victim wrote the killer's name. Yeah, see, that's the incorrect. No! Ah, frick! Before she died, she wrote the killer's name. That's not true. Detective Gumshoe, there's one thing I want you to clarify for me here. You say that the victim, Mia Fey, wrote this note. That she was accusing the defendant, Mia Fey. That's what you were saying. What? This isn't one of those lawyer tricks now, is it? Of course she wrote it. Who else could have? You have it backwards, detective. Backwards? The victim is the only person who absolutely could not have written it. This is a report from your department, detective. Immediate death due to a blow from a blunt object. She died immediately. But no butting your way out of this one, detective. Order! Order! The defense has a point. Someone who had died immediately would not have had any time to write anything down. Mr. Wright, I beg your pardon, but when exactly did you obtain that autopsy report? The day after, right? It was the day after the murder. The prosecution's point being that autopsy report is outdated, Your Honor. What? A second autopsy was performed yesterday at my request. Death was almost immediate due to a blow from a blunt object. But there was a possibility the victim lived for several minutes after the blow. I received these results this morning. No way! Your Honor, it is quite easy to imagine the victim, who did have enough time to write Maya. That is all. I see. Damn you, Edgeworth. I should have known you'd have something up your sleeve. Why, Mr. Wright? You look shocked. Something you'd want to say? I have to say something. Oh god. Mr. Edgeworth, I've heard there's nothing you won't do to get your verdict. What reason could you possibly have to request a second autopsy report? Mr. Wright, the defense will refrain from personal attacks on the prosecution. No matter, Your Honor. Mr. Wright, say what you will about the evidence in this report. It is undeniable. Your Honor, I submit this report to the courts. Understood. The court accepts it as evidence. Mia died from a blow by a blunt object and may have lived for a few minutes after being hit. Well, Your Honor, the evidence strongly suggests the victim was identifying the killer. I suppose that is an obvious conclusion, yes? Darn, this isn't good. The prosecution would like to call out its next witness. This poor, innocent girl who saw the murder with his own eyes. Mrs. White. Or not Mrs. May. Mrs. April. Mrs. April May, take the stand. Exactly what part of her is innocent? Witness, what is your name, please? April May, at your service! Ah. Order! Introduction should not require any reaction from the crowd. The witness will refrain from wonton winking. Oh, yes, Your Honor. Oh my gosh. This is not good. She already captured the heart of every man in this courtroom. Tell us, where were you on the night of September 5th? When the murder occurred? Gee, I was like, in my hotel room. Tee! I checked in right after lunch, and this hotel is directly across from the Fanny Coast law offices. That's right, big boy! Please testify to the court about what you saw. It was like 9 at night, and I looked out my window, you know. And then, ooh, I saw a woman with long hair being attacked. The one attacking her was the mousy girl sitting right in the defendant's chair. And then a woman, like, dodged to one side and ran away. But that girl, she caught up to her and hit her. And then the woman with the long hair, she kind of slumped. The end. That's all I saw. Every little bitsy witsy wink. Well, Your Honor, I see. It is a remarkably solid testimony. I don't see the need to trouble the witness any. Wait, Your Honor. Yes, Mr. Wright. What about my cross-examination? I thought the witness' testimony was quite firm, didn't you? Mr. Wright, I understand you were Mrs. Mia Fey's understudy, were you not? You must know her techniques well. How cowardly, her cowardly way of finding tiny faults in perfectly good testimonies. Hey, how dare you? Well, Mr. Wright, will you cross-examine the witness? Huh. Sure. I'll gladly proceed with the cross-examinations. If only because I have a feeling Edgeworth doesn't want me to. She has to have some weakness. Very well, you may begin your cross-examination. It was like 9 at night when I looked out the window, you know? And then, oof, I saw a woman with long hair being attacked. The one attacking her was the mousy girl sitting in the defendant's chair. And then, the woman, like, dodged to one side and ran away. But that girl, she caught up to her and she hit her. 9, that's fine. I saw a woman with long hair being attacked. The one attacking her was the mousy girl sitting in the defendant's chair. The woman, like, dodged to one side and ran away. I want to see this. I want to hear about this. She dodged? Dodged what? Well, the attack. Please continue your testimony. But that girl caught up to her and she hit her. How did you know it was my client? Huh? Well, gee, first of all, she had a gross physique, and secondly, she was small. Who else could it be but her? She has a point. I question your testimony. Hold on a minute. That testimony stinks. What? Miss May, I am willing to bet that... Did you really see the defendant at all? Mr. Wright, what is the meaning of this? Yes, what is the meaning? Somebody tell me, because I'm clueless about this. I mean... Okay. If you really heard, or if you had really witnessed my client, Maya Fey, you would have noticed her clothes before noticing her physique. No one wears clothes like this on a daily basis except her. And I'm no expert on fashion, but her hairdo looks far from normal to me. Damn. However, the witness's testimony mentioned earlier mentions none of these things. The testimony is bogus. But... Still, we don't know if she was dressed that way the night of the murder. She was, Your Honor. I saw her. And so did Detective Gumshoes. What do you say to that, Mrs. May? Rawr, what are you trying to say? You're mean, lawyer. I saw what I saw. I just didn't think of all the trifling little details were necessary, darling. Mrs. May, the court would like to remind you to please omit nothing in your testimony. I'm so sorry. I'll be a good girl. I promise. Your testimony again, if you would. Damn, I almost had her. I did see everything. I did. The woman dodged the first attack and ran off to the right. Then the girl in the hippie clothes ran after her and hit her with that weapon. I saw it. I did. That clock. That kind of statue-y clock. The thinker, I think. Well, does the accuracy of my report not startle you? Tee-hee. I see. I only wish you had been so detailed from the beginning. Please begin the cross-examination. I did see everything. I did. The woman dodged the first attack and ran off to the right. Then the girl in the hippie clothes ran after her. And she hit her with the weapon. I saw it. I did. That clock? Kind of statue-y clock? The thinker, I think? A clock. Didn't this come up in another testimony recently? Well, don't look so sour, Mr. Lawyer. You can't win them all. No, but I have a feeling I'm onto something right now. That clock, that kind of sketchy thinker, her previous testimony must have been what Edgeworth wanted her to say. So this is the testimony in her own words. Time to press and squeeze the truth out of her. Figuratively, of course. I did see everything. I did. The victim, the woman dodged the first attack and ran off to the right. Is that right as in your right? As you looked from the hotel. Which hand do I hold my knife in again? Right! It was my right hand, right! Satisfied, Mr. Wright? Please continue. Then the girl in the hippie clothes ran after her. How convenient for you to remember her hippie clothes. That's what she was wearing. Oh, and her hair was all done up in a bun. What happened then? And she hit her with that weapon. I saw it. I did. Where did this weapon come from? She picked it up from the desk. I see. What sort of weapon was it? That clock kind of statue, the thinker, I think. So you saw me then too? Of course. I remember that spiky hair anywhere. Spiky. The witness will refrain from personal attacks on the defense attorney. Aw, was I a bad girl? Sorry. Very well, continue. The victim, the woman, dodged the first attack and ran off to the right. This evidence clearly reveals contradiction to the statement, Your Honor. How exactly is that evidence and the statement is now related? They aren't they? Not at all. Mr. Wright, please think of the facts over before making action case. Oh, shit. I don't think that won me any points with the judge. Then the girl in the hippie clothes ran after her. She hit her with the weapon. I saw that, I did. Your Honor, that statement contradicts this evidence. It does? I don't see anything contradictory. Really? Objection overruled. Try to think before you make accusations, Mr. Wright. Oh god. Where did the weapon come from? She picked it up from the desk. I see. What weapon? What sort of weapon? The thinker. The broken remnants of a glass light stand, broken beyond all recognition. And he saw me too. Of course. I remember the spiky hair anyway, spiky. The witness will refrain from further attacks on the defense. Satisfied, please continue. I did see everything I did. Oh god. press and squeeze the truth out of her figuratively. The girl in hippie clothes ran after her. I'm gonna die. Miss May, what you said just now was quite revealing. Oh. Revealing? Oh, you like that, wouldn't you? Naughty, Mr. Lawyer. You said that this statue of the thinker was a clock, but there's no way of knowing that just by looking at it. Another person in much the same position as you recently called this a clock too, and he was found guilty of a murder. Order, order! Miss May, can you explain how you know this was a clock? Ooh. The witness saw the murder with her own eyes. That's all that's important here. The defense is trying to confuse the issue with trivial concerns. Yes, yes, of course. You will withdraw your question, Mr. Wright. But questions are all I have, Your Honor. And if you may recall, I've caught murderers with these questions before. Well, only once. Objection sustained. You may continue your question to the witness. Oof, that was close. If he stopped me there, the trial would be over. What? So, what happens now? What happens now is you answer my question. How did you know it was a clock? What? That's... because I heard it. Yes, I heard it say the time. So you've been to the law offices of Fanco? No. Hey, I didn't say that. Why would I go there? I heard it from my hotel room. The law offices of Fanco, where the murder took place, is very close to the hotel. She could have easily heard the clock. Well, Mr. Wright, are you satisfied? No, Your Honor. I can't give up now. I'm not satisfied because it could not have rung. Your Honor, members of the court, it is inconceivable that the clock in question rang. The clock is missing its clockwork. Order! How could this be? How could you possibly? Just take a look right now. Oh! See anything interesting, Your Honor? It is just as the defense says. This clock is missing its clockwork. It's quite empty. Mr. Wright, would you care to explain to the court the meaning of this? As you can see, the clock was empty. It couldn't have rung. Therefore, this witness is a big, fat liar. Fat? Well, Mrs. May. Tisk, tisk, tisk. Quite a show you've put on for us, Mr. Wright. He knew the clock was empty. Somehow, he knew? I'm afraid you've forgotten one thing, however. Indeed, the clock was empty, as you say. It can't ring. However, we must ask, when was the clockwork removed? If it was after the witness heard the clock, then there's no contradiction. That's true. That is a possibility. The clock might have been emptied after she heard it. And that is exactly what happened, Your Honor. Well, Mr. Wright, can you prove when the clockwork was removed? Oh, impossible, of course. I have proof. What? Wasn't it you told me proof is everything? Well, I was listening. And now I'll show you the proof that you like so very much. The evidence that proves the clockwork when the clockwork was removed.
Take that!
Take a look at this. That's a very cute cell phone. Woohoo! You have a girly phone? Wait. That isn't my phone. Listen, this is the defendant's cell phone. It contains a recording. A recording of the conversation she had with the victim the day of the murder. Order! Order in the court! The defendant's cell phone. This wasn't brought to my attention. Perhaps Detective Gumshoe overlooked it. Good detective. Better remember he's up for evaluation soon. I gotta say, I'm starting to feel bad for the big fella. Let's hear the conversation, shall we? So you want me to hold on to the thinker for you? Then, if you could. Should probably tell you, the clock isn't talking right now. Huh? It's not working? That's so lame. I had to take the clockwork out. Sorry. September 5th, 9:27 a.m. Your Honor, I think this makes it clear the clockwork was already gone by the time this was recorded. Which was well before the witness even arrived at her hotel. Well, Mrs. May, would you care to explain to the court? Just how did you know what the weapon was, or that the weapon was a clock? Well, isn't it obvious? I saw that clock before. Like, what store was that again? I could go to so many. Oops, I forgot. So the witness hadn't seen it before? That would make sense. Does the defense have any objections, Mr. Wright? The witness claims she had seen it before, but this directly contradicts a piece of evidence that has already been submitted to this court. Well then, let's see it. Please provide the evidence that will prove the witness had not seen the clock before.
Take that!
It's simple. This clock was never in any store. Ever. What? A friend of mine made that clock. Only to exist within the world. And the only one that isn't here at the police's custody? Impossible! Everything is sword and sores. Mrs. May, I think it is high time you went shopping for a better excuse. Oh, excuses are not on sale today, I guess. Oh, damn! Oh! Ah! What the heck? What is it to you, porcupine head? That stupid clock doesn't matter, okay? She did it, and she should die for it. Die! Whoa! Let's not get ahead of ourselves. This is a court of law, and the witness will remain calm. Huh? Oh! Oh! Silly me! Did I, lose it there? Oh my god, I guess I did! Tee-hee! Scary. Mrs. May, let me ask. Tell me, how did you know the weapon was a clock? Oh dear. Does the defense have an opinion on this behavior? Okay, this is it. Yes, Your Honor. Allow me to explain how I see the truth of the matter. Miss April May, you knew the weapon was a clock because you heard about it. The witness had never held the clock in her hand. However, she had heard that it was a clock. She heard? That is correct, Your Honor. There is no other way that she could have known the thinker was a clock. And I can show you the proof. Well, this is interesting. Let's see it then. Show me the evidence proving the witness had heard the murder weapon was a clock. Have a look at this. Oh, whoa, take that! I found this in Miss May's room. Mr. Wright, please explain to the court what this is. Miss April May, you were tapping the victim, Mrs. Mia Fay's phone, weren't you not?
Objection!
Your Honor, this is irrelevant. I'm not entirely sure that it is. Objection overruled. It troubles me that our witness was in possession of a wiretap. This is outrageous. Does the defense truly claim that the witness was tapping her phone? Absolutely. Even if that was the case, which it is not, you still have to prove one thing. Did the victim ever say that the weapon was a clock on the phone? Can you prove that? I think not. Oh yeah? I think I can. It's simple. What? Here's my proof. The proof that the victim said on the phone that the weapon was a clock is on the recording. Did you not listen? Probably not.
Take that!
I present the defendant's cell phone. Yes, we've seen that. Listen once more to the conversation between the defendant and the victim. Mia, what's up? You haven't called in a while. Well, actually, there was something I wanted for you to hold on to for me. Again? What is it this time? It's a clock. It's made to look like this statue, the thinker, and it tells you the time. Miss April May, you used a wiretap to listen to this conversation. That is how you knew the thinker was a clock. Am I wrong?
Objection!
Your Honor, this is ridiculous. Your Honor, look at the witness's face. Does she seem amused to you? The defense demands an answer. Larf. Witness, answer the question. Did you tap her phone? Miss May. Shut up, all of you! What gives you the right to talk to me like that? You lawyer! It's not fair. All of you are getting up on me like that. I'm not the bad girl. This isn't it. Is that it? What? That did it. The court has seen the real Miss April May now. Now the defense, or now to deal a final blow. Why did you wiretap her phone? Answer the question. Do I have to? Isn't this a murder trial? Isn't tippity tapping irrelevant? She's saying exactly what Edgeworth wants her to say. Miss May, you were tapping the victim's phone. I hardly call that irrelevant. While this court does not condone the defense's tone of voice, he has a point. Well, Mrs. May, do you have an explanation for the court? Can you prove you had nothing to do with this murder, even though you had tapped her phone? I'd like to see her pull that off. Mr. Lawyer, I saw that evil grin. You were probably thinking I'd like to see her pull that off, weren't you? Damn, she's good. Well, you're not the first man who thought of that, and of course, I can and I will. You can't be serious. No way. Way, I say. Way, and I can assure you I'm serious, Mr. Lawyer. Okay, so the killing happened around 9 at night. Why, that was just when I was getting my room service from the sweet bellboy. Room service? Iced coffee, I believe it was. Iced coffee, you know, like normal coffee, but cold? I don't drink it quick. The ice, if you don't drink it quick, the ice melts and then you just have regular cold coffee. Iced coffee? I think I'm making this up. Ask the bellboy. Ergo, the witness was not at the scene at the time of the murder. We literally just, okay. So, where does that leave us? It is my great displeasure to inform you that the witness appears to have been tapping the victim's telephone. However, that is a separate crime with no bearing on the current case whatsoever. Her testimony stands. She saw the defendant, Maya Fey, commit the murder. No, they're going to just let her walk away? There's no way I can win unless I tie Mrs. May to the murder somehow. Well, does the defense have anything to say? Well, come on, think of something. Call the bellboy as a witness. The defense would like to call the hotel bellboy as a witness. There's something suspicious here, and I'm going to get to the bottom of it. I think you've sunken low enough already. I object to calling the bellboy. Why? What's your reason? Because I hold that the wiretapping had nothing to do with the killing. However, if you agree to one condition, I will consent to calling this witness. Condition. If Miss April May's alibi is not called into question after you examine the bellboy, then you will recognize that Miss April May is not the killer, thus she is innocent. And thereby, you must also accept the verdict, or the guilty verdict of Maya Fey. That is my condition. What? I'd better find something suspicious in that bellboy's testimony. Otherwise, Maya will be declared guilty on the spot. What should I do? Alright, I got nothing to lose. Except for, well, everything. Understood, I accept your condition. Fool. You fell right into my trap. Uh-oh. Wait, yeah, that's what I thought. Calls, okay, I just fucked up. I died. Certainly does look like a bellboy. Yes, sir. I've received a summons in the middle of work. Sir, I am happy to be of service. The tea looks rather heavy. Without further ado, let the witness begin his testimony. Very good, sir. I am the head bellboy at the Gateway Water Hotel, a business for 4 generations. I believe I received a call after 8 in the evening from our guest, Mrs. May. She asked for an iced coffee to be brought to her at 9 on the dot, sir. I brought to her precisely at the time she requested, of course. And I delivered the iced coffee to our guest, Mrs. May herself. I see. The defense may begin cross-examination. Right, I'm ready, I hope. This is it. If I can't prove Mrs. May is involved with the murder now, Maya will be finished. I'm the head bellboy at the Gateway Hotel, in business for 4 generations. I believe I received a call at 8 in the evening from our guest, Mrs. May. Are you sure it was Mrs. May on the phone? Absolutely, sir. How can you be so certain? I checked Mrs. May in personally, sir. Not only did I see her in her stunning radiance, but I also heard her voice. And then I saw them, and the point being, I remembered her quite well. Oh. Yes, and what then? She asked for iced coffee and I brought it to her at 9 on the dot. 9 on the dot, you say? Yes, I confirmed the details several times. She was watching a program on TV and she wished to drink it after she finished, sir. 9, the time of the murder. I brought it to her precisely at the requested time, of course. Precisely 9 then? Precisely. Exactly and most definitely, sir. 9. How can he be so sure? Mrs. May is quite insistent that it was brought by then. Oh. Bellboy, teehee, I'd like an iced coffee at exactly 9. Something like that, sir. Therefore, I knocked on the door at the crack of 9. Why would she be so particular on that time? And I delivered the iced coffee to our guest, Mrs. May herself. The bellboy wouldn't have any reason to lie, but I have to find something to use in his testimony. One more time. I'll press him until he spills the beans or his tea.
Hold it!
What exactly is it that you do at the hotel? Why, anything that's required of me, sir. I check in, guests, check out guests, clean rooms, make beds, even deliver room service. I check Mrs. May in personally. Are you always so prim? Mr. Wright, you will refrain from asking frivolous questions. I brought it to her precisely at that time. Find something to use in his testimony one more time. I brought it to her precisely the requested time, of course. I delivered the iced coffee to our guest, Mrs. May herself.
Hold it!
Are you sure it was Miss April May herself? Absolutely, sir. Oh, yeah. Absolutely? Yes, sir. As in, so very absolutely, sir. If it's an endearing mannerism of mine. How come you're very certain? Well, when I brought the room service, sir, the guest, sir, favored me with an embarrasser, sir. Embarrasser? Is that French for embrace? It's a French kiss, sir, but not a French kiss, sir. More of a peck on the cheek. Why would she have done that? I believe, perhaps, she was momentarily swayed by my prim demeanor, sir. It was a moment I shall never forget, sir. Sounds pretty fishy to me. I think our Miss May was up to something and wanted the bellboy to remember her. It's no good. There's nothing there. Is that it? Tisk, tisk. Finally you understand. This bellboy has absolutely no reason to lie. Now, if you have any decency, you will end rather tedious cross-examination here. It was a bit tedious. The witness may leave the stand. I can't let this happen, can I? Wait. Please wait. Yes. Does the defense have something to add? One last question. Let me ask one last question. Your Honor, I must object. This charade of justice has gone on long enough. Now, Mr. Edgeworth. All right, Mr. Wright. I will give you one more question. That is all. Okay. This is really it. Now, this is my last chance. What do I ask him about? Check-in, check-out time? Tell me about check-in. Tell me about when you checked Mrs. May. Oh, alright, very well, sir. My first thought was she was beautiful, a beautiful person. She was just my type of girl. So, it was a disappointment, really. I see. Excuse me, what exactly was a disappointment? Well, I'm not without charm, sir, but even I'd have little chance with her lover there. What did he say? What did you just say? Rather, quite... Bellboy, tell us the truth now. Did Miss May check in with another person? I object. That was objectionable. Objection overruled. The witness will answer the question. Alright, yes, I see. Why did you not mention this in your testimony? Well, sir, you didn't ask. Nice try. That's the sort of thing you normally are supposed to mention. Yes, quite, indeed. It was the, good barrister there, Mr. Edgeworth, who... He asked me not to mention it if I wasn't specifically asked, sir. Ugh! You fool! I've done it. I've won. Miss April May checked into a twin room with a man, correct? Yes, sir. Then, when you brought the room service, you didn't see that man in the room? That's right, sir. Your Honor, we have just learned of another person involved who may have been the murderer. In light of this new fact, I hold that it is impossible for the judge, to judge the defendant. Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Edgeworth? And who, Mr. Wright, is this other person? Simple, it was. The man with Mrs. May. The man who checked in with Mrs. May. Your Honor, as it has been previously revealed, Mrs. April May was tapping the victim's phone. Yet, Mrs. May herself has an alibi at the time of the murder. However, it does not clear the man who was with her. The bellboy saw no one else in the room at the time of the murder. My, that convenient little setup, but it's too late. Too late? I suppose you'd like it if it was too late, wouldn't you? After all, it was you who hid the presence of the other man from this court. Upstart amateur. These accusations are ludicrous. Enough. The court acknowledges the defense's arguments. I expect the prosecution and defense to look into this matter fully. Am I understood? Yes, Your Honor. That is all for today. The trial of Maya Fey. The court is adjourned. September 7th, 2:24 p.m. District Court, Defense Lobby Number 1. Mr. Wright, you were amazing in there. Really? I think I might be your newest fan. Oh, I was just doing my job, you know. Then again, the other attorney was pretty cool too. Huh? That face of his, with his eyes wide and trembling lips, it sent shivers up my spine. If you say so. So, what happens with me? Do I get to go home now? Well, I don't think so. Not yet. Oh, I see. But I got a great lead in today's trial. But I got a great lead in today's trial. A lead? That man with Mrs. May, he's the key. Oh, I get it. What happened to Mrs. May after that, anyway? I heard they arrested her. I guess she's learning her charms won't work everywhere. She's probably at the detention center now. I may have to, or she's probably at the detention center now, and I may have to go down there later. Anyway, this case is far from closed. Yes, sir. I'm going to find out more about this man. Do you think that he was the one who... Maybe so. Sis. Don't worry, I'll find him by tomorrow, I promise. I'm counting on you. I asked for a full record of April May's testimony. I thought it might come in handy during the trial tomorrow. But for now that I have it, I'm not so sure. Most of her testimony was all lies. In fact, there was only one part that hasn't been stricken from the record. May's testimony is out of the court record. I don't know how much good this will do at all now. Anyway, time to hit the pavement and do some investigating. Mai doesn't belong in the detention center, and it's up to me to set her free. To be continued. Well, so with that being said, in the next episode of Ace Attorney, we are going to start episode 3, I think? I don't know. Well, we're starting, I don't know. It didn't say that, so. Anyway, we will see you guys in the next episode where we carry on some more things. See y'all.